I did almost all of it, and then when it got down to like doing the last top coat, I was like, Rachel was like, Charles, I think you're gonna fall down because I had just got done producing the expo, immediately turned around and produced an opening for Craig Downs while I was moving the studio into my new location and building out the new store and redoing their floors all at the same time. So it was like I was literally like beyond burnt at both ends.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you do that? What keeps you going?
I think a lot of it is I don't want to let anybody down. I got a lot of people.
Relatable.
Pleaser, it's okay. Same.
It's like, especially like with all my artists, it's like I had to go to the hospital the other day because I'd had this immense pain. Turns out I have a hernia.
Oh no!
And it's like, so I'm having immense guilt that the gallery was closed for one day while I was in the ER. So it's like, it's like, because that's a day that I'm not there for my artists, because where I'm at with the gallery is I had no intention of opening a gallery. You probably might have watched our video.
I did not, because I like YouTube, but I'm weird about YouTube videos. Like, I don't know what it was. I skipped the YouTube phase in my youth. I didn't have a computer when I was younger, so I usually read shit. I like to read more, like blog.
Fucking Luddite over here.
I'm sorry. I like YouTube videos. There's
throwing shoes in the machines.
But I miss, like, when people talk about that Trisha Platypus girl. I don't know
Trisha Paytas. She just named her baby Aquaman. I don't even know pop culture.
I only know her because I dated this dude like 10 years younger than me.
Named Aquaman.
And he really liked that stuff. So, like, and that's who I...
Wait, you dated a man who was really into that? And you just admitted that openly? Shameful.
I have more shameful things.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
We talk about
anyway,
you should read her column, maybe don't, to find out all of her shames. Right, like, that was in like 94.
Yeah, it was a valid fear you had.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And growing up in farmland too, and it was a completely different. And it's ironic now that like now the farm towns are becoming the safe havens for the queers. What? What happened? How did that happen?
It's called Missouri.
I do know a lot of lesbian homesteaders. They did move out. They were like,
my brother-in-law's polycule is in Millstadt in the middle of cornfields, so.
Ended up over here, and Alton's a unique town in itself, and it's rooted in history. Its history is rooted in inclusion, right down to Lovejoy.
Inclusion and
diversity.
Trying to kill the guy, trying to get everyone included.
Exactly. Well, let's see. Well, let's circumvent that one. But apparently, I got really wasted and called up suicide hotline, cussed him out, told him I felt like I was ordering a pizza, and hung up on him.
Such a move.
I think they get that a lot, though.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, we didn't. I know, because I was on both sides of the phone call.
Because I've done stuff like that. So that's why I was like, I think that's common.
Wait, you've done that?
I mean, I've been drunk and called suicide hotlines and argued with them about the stupidest shit, actually. But I still drink.
Okay.
That was not enough to push her over the edge.
Not to that extent anymore, though. Harm reduction's a beautiful.
Verbally abusing the suicide hotline. That's wow. That's a checklist.
No.
Okay.
Well, but anyway,
I don't know. I don't exactly subscribe to being like fully cis myself. I'm somewhere in the non-binary spectrum of things, and I grew up out in Jersey County. Went to Catholic school. Dad was a diddler. Like, shit sucked. So, like, what you're saying, I don't exactly, like, know what it's like to be gay because I've always been, like, into women. But, like, my own views of who I am as a person never quite jived well with the Jersey County wood chopping country thing. Even though I love chopping wood and shooting guns, I also love like collecting flowers and writing poems and drinking dainty teas and not really fitting in with people's idea of masculinity. So like your tale is...
I'd also like to, given the indigenous area, try to work in some sort of Native American representation too.
Would love that.
But, trying to, connect into that, considering I'm not from the area, has been challenging sometimes.
I think the Peoria tribe is still represented. I think they're tribal leaders in Oklahoma, but the Peoria tribe is the Lenawek like descendant tribe that is still associated with this area, and they're actually trying to keep the language alive. I found a lot of their like resources in Mississippi is directly an Lenawek word, which thought that was really cool. Just learning about the way that we call things without knowing why, and finding out through this indigenous like cultural heritage that a lot of the things I call certain things are because of that, just straight up. So I thought that was really interesting, and I would love to see a lot more Lenawek specific like representation, like people who lived in this area before fucking Andrew Jackson, stupid fucking ass. Fuck you, Andrew Jackson.
You know, I look have you ever been in the news? Or have you been published? Do you sell prints of your work? What are your price points? Where have you shown? Who have you shown with? Blah, 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 blah. I don't really care about if you went to school because, you know, like the last thing I need is after, you know, all my years in psychology professions, I don't want to sit here and listen to somebody pontificate about where they got their master's degree. So
Yeah.
I don't. Do you
like
suck?
I feel like that's kind of like the culinary arts. I know people
Yeah.
who have been chefs and worked their way up from, you know, on the line or salads and are way better, you know, at curating flavors than people who have gone to school and look cordon bleu or whatever.
Right.
So
you know, so I'll look at those things.
learn more about it, what it is, how brain, and in general mental health, but also a lot of disorders like schizophrenia. My brother's schizophrenic, and like just these, you know, depression. And then there's these other ones that people consider more serious and don't want to talk about or bring light to. And it's just, you know, the toxic, what is that one movie? Single white female, is it? What's her name? The one
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about.
The Faces of Eve?
No, the one that's like, what's her name? The movie that everyone's like, is it Glenn Close in it? Where it's like she.
Girl Interrupted?
No. Well,
No, that's
it
yours.
is. That is. No, but.
Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction. Yes.
Fatal Attraction.
Yes. But also there was another one that was, but yeah, BPD coded, I guess. But most, I think, yeah, Sybil. Yeah, yes. But I think that was like, anyway.
The first responders to, you know, especially when the system was maxed, you know, as you know, in the city of St. Louis, you know, during the pandemic, it was like at one point in time we were down to like 4 ambulances running, and it was like for the entire city of St. Louis. Come on, like, you know,
That's like an ambulance per 100,000 people.
You know, it's like, you know, you're trying to do active rescue and you've got somebody voluntarily waiting for the ride to the hospital, and it's like, and you know, you've got to keep them stable until the police or the ambulance or fire marshal arrives. And you know, when you're waiting 2 to 3 hours, you know, for that car to arrive, and it, you know, 9 times out of 10, most of us were able to de-escalate it to where the client didn't even need to go into the hospital after that. But
Okay.
I know
But
Alton
there's-
has Sacred Spaces of Care. We did some episodes on them. I don't know
Yeah.
if you were aware of that.
Oh, yeah,
they
look it
come
up,
out and
Megan
meet,
Tyler.
you know, they work with the police for mental health crises
Yeah.
and things like that.
well, yeah, the company I worked for was called BHR, Behavioral Health Response, and they have you know, a lot of MOT outreach programs with a lot of different agencies.